Hey, what's up, guys? Back from the deck profile here. Now, a lot of people have been asking me to update Infernoids. That is also just one of my favorite decks of all time. So I started tinkering with it. The Monster Gate going to 1 on the list kind of made me depressed. Obviously, it's probably because of snow or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but so I built it, and I built it a couple different ways. I also have 2 more Infernoid lists that I will profile at some point soon. I just tested with this one the most. This one will seem very odd to people, but it's definitely a different outtake or a different outlook, of how you could play the deck. So, without further ado, guys, fucking Infernoids. It is a 60-card deck. Rest in peace, grass is greener.
Rip.
Mm-hmm. But, for all my Infernoid players out there. I once again just really like this deck. I've gotten my invite with this deck to Nationals, I think, twice. Obviously not this list, but anyway, so starting right off, 2 of the big boys, 2 Anunk dudes. This card's just absolutely insane. Actually, I'm playing 60 cards, but I actually wanted to cut down to 1 of each of these, but when I did, when in testing, it just wasn't as good as I would hoped it to be, just because to cut down the less bricks, you know what I mean? So, and then 2 Deviatis. Deviatis, same thing with the Nunk dudes. Both of these are just very good. And then I have a smaller, Infernoid package, or Infernoid number. I found this to just be the most consistent for me personally, so just 1 Atondal. This card's insane. 1 Sistemas. This is probably the best Infernoid. 1 Sajet, 1 Petrulia, 1 Harmadic, 1 Antra, and that's it. That's literally it for the this. Obviously, I play Decatron, but that's in a different realm, which I'll show you in a minute. But that's my count right now, outside of the 3 Decatrons. So, obviously, 3 Decatron. This card is just just very good too. So it's just and then obviously the fucking 1 Snow, dude. That's another reason why I made this deck 60 cards. I wanted it to. I kind of built it to grind with not the stun decks, but the trap decks, Eldritch or stuff like that, where you're just kind of just trying to keep resources going. That's why I'm playing a low count with 60 cards of the Infernoids, is because I want to see the consistency cards. I'm also playing a mishmash of going first and second cards. I felt like that was just more consistent overall for me. So obviously Snow, and then the 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. Unfortunately, I feel like you have to play this line. So obviously the only thing that Monster Gate Reasoning can hit is Driver, Snow, and Decatron. And then I'm also playing 3 Lava Golems. I just felt like Lava Golem was even going first or second. Going first is optimally what you want to do with this deck right now, because I play a bunch of trap cards, but even going second, you can still Lava Golem and then safely set all your back row. So it's just kind of here nor there, depending on the matchup. You know what I mean? So I thought Lava Golem was very good. And then the last monster is the Alpha. I thought 1 Alpha was just very good on testing. Card's just nuts. So. And then for the spell cards, the 1 Reasoning, 1 fucking Monster Gate for some fucking reason. 1 for 1, Called by the Grave. This is it for the 1-ups. And then for the consistency cards, I'm still playing 3 Extrav. I think Extrav is just kind of where you want to be at with the deck. But there's also a bunch of ways you can build this. Eventually I'm going to have a Numeron Infernoid list, a Sky Striker Infernoid list. Sky Striker Infernoids is actually very good. You know what I mean? Because people still play Ash for some reason, but I'm not a huge fan of Ash. The one thing I do want to note with this deck too is, I'll go into that one again, the extra deck. So, obviously 3 Layer of Darkness. Like I said, this is a mishmash of going first and second cards. Layer of Darkness is just too good not to play, in my opinion, unless you were playing the Numeron list. Card's just ridiculous. So, obviously, 3 Imagination, 3 Vanishment. These cards are just nuts. Even in this build too, the fact that this turns all your dudes into DD Warrior Lady is actually kind of relevant. It's come up a few times, especially against Golden Lord and stuff like that. Also, this deck I feel plays around Flunder kind of well, ish, depending on your open, of course. But it goes toe to toe with that. So, and obviously Imagination is just kind of like a blowout card. So, and then for the traps, obviously free Void Feast. I mean, you know, I have zero to say about this card. This card's just fucking disgustingly good. Like, the fucking effect to activate, send one, and then you can chain a second feast to send the first feast is just very good. So, then the rest of these are trap cards. 3 strike. I think that's self-explanatory. I think this card's just very good right now in the meta. 3 skill drain. So I want to talk about the skill drain for a second. So, this card is just very, very good. Like sometimes you can, depending on your hand, like you can just either Sajet a Tondal or something like that, and then have like, you know, there can only be one skill drain, like, and they just can't out it. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of wild too. So I just think skill drain is very good in this deck. And then, like I just said, there can only be one. One card I found, yeah, one, dude, there can only be one. It's just fucking gross. Also, the there can only be one. You can out it yourself by just, you know, if you want to, like, let's say summon Tierra, but you have a Tondal or somebody on the board, you can just use the effect tribute itself to banish a card from the graveyard, and then you can just summon whatever. So you can play around there can only be one fairly easy. And then Ice Dragon's Prison. People kind of stopped playing this card. I found this card actually to be very good right now. I'm not entirely sure if it was just the matchups I played against, but this is you could probably trade this out for another slot, like maybe Gozen or Rivalry if you wanted to. I just thought this card was very good. So. And then the 3 Imperm. I mean, that's just you know. So, and then 3 Torrential. Torrential is just very insane in this deck too, because this is one of the decks that, like, you can get max value out of Torrential, because, like, you can have, like, you know, a couple Infernoids or something, or an Infernoid, and, like, they'll start playing into it or whatever, and then you can just be like Torrential, and then chain their effect to tribute, banish card from graveyard, so it doesn't just completely waste the Infernoid. Or even with Layer up, you don't even need to use the Torrential, so it's like 2 line of plays. If you have, like, Layer and a big Infernoid with Torrential set, once they start playing, you can just tribute one of their dudes for the big Infernoid to banish a card, and then you can hold the Torrential to where it really matters. So I just thought that was kind of important to note. And then last card is 1 Punishment. I'm just only playing 1. Obviously, I'm not playing Ecclesia or anything like that. I just felt like this is one of the cards you want to see once. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm playing Entis, but Tierra sends Entis anyways, so it's, you know, it's just whatever. But it's a good, you know, good blowback follow up. And if there is some cards that you think I'm just, oh, why is he not playing this? They're probably in my honorable mentions. I do have honorable mentions that I will talk about. And then for the extra deck, obviously 3 alt ETR. This card's just, I have like 0 to say about this card. This card's just absurdly good. So, you know, obviously, and you know, you can send it with Punishment if you need an extra name, or you can send the other copies of it with its own effect. You know what I mean? So. And then 2 Entis, you know what I mean? Like, for the Punishment, the Tierra, some people still play Maximus, stuff like that. The only synchro that I play is the Omega. Obviously, I'm playing Gamma Driver, but also you can make this off of Feast if you just want to, like, Decatron. Sometimes this has happened, I think, twice, where you'll, like, Feast, and you'll just get Systemos and Decatron Systemos. And then you'll go to Decatron, they'll Veiler it or Imperm it or something, because they know how good, people know how good Decatron is. And then it stays level 1 tuner, so you can just immediately make this the Omega with the Decatron and the Systemos. So, I'm actually still playing Gravity Controller. Another reason I'm playing this card is so I don't have to waste the Entis that I send with Tierra to pop itself. I can just make this, plus it plays around there can only be 1. So like if you have Tierra in the extra monster zone when you fuse it with Imagination, you can just immediately link it off for this, because it goes from Fiend to Psychic, so you locks it. Turns up so you can summon 1 other Infernoid. This is a very control-based Infernoid list, I feel like. And then I'm playing 1 Dark. This card's nuts right now. This takes DP from the graveyard. I mean, there's not really a whole bunch to say from this. It helps you make equal max. And if layers face up, all your dudes are dark anyways, so you obviously can make this anyways. And I'm still playing 2 Hida. I didn't see layer that much when I was playing. As I wanted to, so I chose to play 2 Hida, 1 Dark instead of 2 Dark, 1 Hida for the Equimax play. And then also I'm playing the 1 Needle Fiber. So obviously you can Decatron and another monster into Needle Fiber, summon another Decatron, and then go into Equimax. Excuse me. So plus it's water. So if you need to link climb into access code, it's just another banish for access code. And obviously I'm playing multiples of these because of Xtrav. So two equal max. Every Infernoid player knows that this card's just see you later. And I'm playing the 1BLS. This card's just inherently just very good right now. I feel like personally, there's no reason to not play it. Plus, it's an Earth link once again, like I stated. So it's a different attribute link for access code. Plus, also if you're trying to if you can actually link climb into access code. One thing people forget, I've watched a couple matches of people playing. It's like Tierra doesn't always have to send Entis or Omega and stuff like that. You can just send different attributes of links from your extra deck and then go into the access code, and it has more pops than you need it to. So also it can banish itself to pop skill drain, your opponent's skill drain or something like that. So just to know. And that's it for the main deck. And let me show you the honorable mentions. There's a couple cards that I thought were very good. Also the John, what's the fucking Fiend card that came in the Lair structure deck? It's like tributes, reveal 3 traps. It's like fucking, I can't remember what it's called, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like that chick card or whatever. I chose not to play it because it's a normal summon that Monster Gate and Reasoning will hit. I'm not gonna lie, I drew Reasoning a lot. I drew Monster Gate almost never. So, then a couple things I wanted to honorable mention was the Fiend Griefing in the backjack. Obviously, this is like DD Crow, sending any Fiend from deck to graveyard to banish card in graveyard, banish your opponent's card. Backjack, I didn't main it because Monster Gate Reasoning can hit it. But this card is very good, just to note, because obviously I'm playing a bunch of traps. They're not all normal traps, though. So. And then this card, 3 Econ. I would actually probably side deck this card in some ratio with Lair if depending on what the meta was at an event or your locals or something like that. Because obviously if you have Lair up, you can just tribute one of their dudes, take one of their dudes. So it's just, it's just very good. So, and then the other 2 Lair cards, these 2. Obviously this one's very good. Once again, didn't play it just because I wanted to stick to 3 cards that Monster Gate could hit. This card, Diabolus, is kind of just nuts, but I didn't end up maining it. So, and then Void Seer. I really like this card as well, because if you get in that grind game matchup where you'll have a bunch of traps and one Infernoid, and it's protect the Infernoid at all costs. This card just becomes very relevant. So I still like this card a lot. Obviously, Into the Void. Not playing it because I was testing it and I kept drawing I think it was I kept drawing Driver off of it, which I mean it's not terrible, but it's not great. So I was just like, oh, just discard the Driver, and sometimes I end up called by the grave, etc. And then last card I want to mention before somebody says anything is Super Poly. I think the format right now is too diverse to play Super Poly. I feel like you'd have to dedicate the build to Super Poly. And if you didn't have Lair automatically, then Super Poly becomes worse of a card. You know what I'm saying? So, also, for the Super Poly card, I would probably play a 40 card list for Lair. I will have 2 to 3 more lists of Infernoids coming soon, so let me know what you guys want to see. I will be doing the Numeron Infernoids, Sky Striker Infernoids soon. Best deck too. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Once again, leave me comments down below and ask me questions for the Ask Me Anything video. I'll leave your fucking tag name on YouTube and the question you asked, and shout you out. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.